A little backstory. We grew up in a pretty destructive family environment, fueled by our parents' toxicity. I, 36 female, always felt like the forgotten child of their 5 daughters. My mother even surrendered all custody of me, not my sister, when I was 12. When I was 16, I thought I was in love with my boyfriend, 18. We had our first child a year later, married at 19 and twins at 20. It was a toxic relationship on both sides. We eventually went through a rough divorce when I was 30. We both got help for our issues and now have a great co-parenting relationship. I've been in an amazing relationship with my fiancé, 40 male, for 5 years, and he recently proposed. Every time I talk to my oldest sister about the wedding, she mentions it's not my first wedding. She has said things like I shouldn't wear white, it should be small, and I should tell everyone not to get gifts, because that's the tradition. It is my fiancé's first wedding. She called me to tell me she was assigned to throw a bridal shower, but didn't think it was appropriate since I had been married before. I know this is not my first wedding, and I don't need to be reminded whenever she talks to me about the wedding. I told her I wasn't interested in her throwing a bridal shower and that my bridal party would do it instead. She would be welcome to attend, but I don't want anyone to feel obligated to celebrate the upcoming wedding. Now she thinks I'm being dramatic and twisting her words. She stated she thought it was funny that she was assigned and wanted to make sure I actually wanted a shower. She also mentioned again to tell the bridal party to make sure and put it on the invitation not to bring gifts, since I'm already established. I honestly don't care if people bring gifts or not, but why is she pushing this? I told her I wasn't interested in arguing or talking further about this topic. My fiancé is the baby of his family, and they weren't sure if he'd ever get married since he's 40. They want to celebrate all the traditional wedding things for us. His family is great and has accepted the kids and me from the beginning. I want him to have that experience as well. Should it matter that I'd been married before? Am I the idiot? You really shouldn't have a bridal shower, you know. Well, you should really just barely even have a wedding since it's not your first, but you definitely shouldn't do a bridal shower. But yeah, I was instructed to throw one for you. So do you want to do it? People shouldn't bring gifts though, because you already got hitched once and that marriage ended like Chernobyl. But yeah, let me go ahead and throw you a bridal shower, okay? No, I'm the one throwing it, not your bridal party, even if it's screwed up that you're doing one at all. This is the most passive-aggressive offer for a bridal shower I've ever seen. Not the idiot. Tell your sister that she's assigned to stop. Honestly, I tell her either she never says another word about this being your second wedding and what she shouldn't do, or she'll be summarily uninvited, including comments made during the act of wedding. She's welcome to keep any tradition she cares about and believes for her life events, but either stress there to celebrate OP's wedding or she's not coming to said wedding. End of. OP, I hope you find the courage to put your foot down or step crap over your whole day. Maybe sis lied and came up with the idea of hosting the shower so she could actively prevent people from bringing gifts. She seems pretty obsessed with that. Honey, you need to have a serious talk with your sister. She sounds as if she isn't happy at all that you're getting married. If that is the case, uninvite her. Cutting ugly and toxic people from your life should be de rigueur for you after growing up in a toxic household, but this is probably another one who needs to go. Her statements are meant to hurt. Don't let her do it to you. Update. Firstly, thank you all for the well wishes. I lived with my grandparents for a few years. On my 17th birthday, I was officially on my own and moved in with my boyfriend's, now ex-husband's family. While I didn't live with my siblings or parents, my dad and sisters were still part of my life. Sister's been married for over 20 years. From my point of view, it appears they have a great relationship. I don't know what she would be jealous of. I'm not positive who exactly assigned her, as my matron of honor was already planning the shower. I assume my siblings felt obligated, but didn't really want to do it, and assigned her. I don't think she's jealous of the gifts or the wedding, or don't really understand why she would be. She's only a guest and doesn't have a role in the wedding. I don't think she'd say or do anything at the wedding. She likes to project the perfect persona in front of other people. Due to the family dynamics, most of my family's not invited. Only 2 sisters are on the invite list. I've been clinging to these 2 relationships since I've had no contact with most of the family. While I know no contact is what's best, sometimes it feels like I am the problem since they all still have contact with each other. My mom and stepdad live around 12 hours from me by car, and my stepsister Jane lives around 8 hours away, but is en route if I'm driving. On Friday, my girlfriend and I finished working at lunch to drive to my mom's to spend the week. My stepbrother's getting married on Saturday, and we'll work from home for a week. I begrudgingly agreed to pick up and drive Jane. Also, I was cautious of doing this, as we've never gotten on, and she finds a way to make everything an argument or a political debate. Firstly, when I arrived to pick her up, she made us wait outside for 30 minutes, as she hadn't finished packing. This alone annoyed me, because it was a long drive, and I wanted to get there before 2 a.m. In hour 1 of the journey, with Jane in a car, she requested to stop to use the restroom, so we stopped. In hour 2 of the journey, she requested my girlfriend turn the music completely off, as she didn't like music. In hour 3 of the journey, Jane wanted to stop for some food. I asked her to hold on an hour, as I had already planned where we were stopping and getting gas, and I wanted to limit stops. Jane then spent the next hour complaining of feeling sick and faint. Hour 4, we stopped, and Jane disappeared for half an hour. When my girlfriend found her, she was just sitting outside on FaceTime with one of her friends. Hour 5, we stopped because Jane needed to use the restroom. At this point, Jane purchased another meal. Hour 6, I pulled over so Jane could sit shotgun as she was getting carsick. At this point, she wanted to debate why marriage is archaic and exists to limit women. Hour 7, stop for the restroom and more snacks at Jane's request. Hour 8, we're on our final stretch to my mom's house, and Jane requests to stop again. I say no, we're nearly there. Jane then says that she's going to be sick, and we have to stop. I refuse and say I'll pull over if she's going to be sick, but we're 30 minutes away. When we arrived at my mom's house, she announced to my stepdad that I refused to stop the car for her, and she was so ill, etc. My mom then shouts at me because I know Jane is sensitive. Jane is 29. I'm 28, so not children. Since then, all weekend, Jane has referred to it and told my girlfriend that I can be cruel and nasty and have been since I was a child. I've now said I'm not driving her back. She has no transport home. Am I the idiot? She pulls crap constantly. The issue is she's very easy to upset, and my stepdad doesn't want to lose contact with her. As a result, we're all expected to walk on eggshells. Not the idiot. Your stepdad can provide her transport then. She's impossible, deliberately so. It's amazing to think there are people like this. Your parents will get on your case about not driving her back, so get ready for a fight. But don't cave. To be honest, when she made you wait at the start of the journey, again deliberately, to assume power over you, you should have just taken off and left her to figure it out. People like your stepsis pull these stunts because no one stops them. Agree. Stepdad can drive her back or buy her a bus ticket. It's your stepdad's job to maintain a relationship with her. It's not yours. Just because he's okay with walking on eggshells doesn't mean you need to continue to do so. Honestly, I thought Jane was 5, not 29. If the girl is this sensitive and narcissistic, there's no way she'll go no contact with him. She'll need something in 2 weeks and come back. I, 25 female, am not sure if it's relevant, but I've chosen a child-free life. About 3 months ago, I started a new job and have just passed my probation period, and now my bosses are sorting out my annual leave with me. This boss said there's one gap left for annual leave on Christmas, and they've been saving it for me. According to him, any new employees will get the first Christmas off once they've passed the probation period. Here's the thing, I don't care if I work on Christmas or not, and I'll be on my own this Christmas as I don't celebrate it. 2 days later, this was 3 days ago, a colleague came up to me. She was talking about annual leave and asked if I would consider switching, and my response was no. She then told me how she has kids and what I would be doing this Christmas, and I just said no. She seemed moody and walked away. Later that night, I got home, and my nephew video called me from his mom's phone. When she got on the phone, we caught up. Here's the thing, though. Before my sister gave birth to her son, a similar situation happened, and she completely agreed with me in a previous workplace. I brought this up with my sister. My sister said I'm being selfish, as I'm child-free, and she has kids. She's working and I'm not, which means she won't be able to see her kids for long on Christmas Day. She also mentioned that I'm not bothering to come up and see family this Christmas, and we'll be spending 3 days phone-free, so I won't be communicating with anyone. Am I the idiot for not giving up my annual leave to a mom with kids when I'm going to be off and she's going to be working, even though I don't care if I work or don't work? I don't care whether I work Christmas or not, but I'm not switching with you. You are the idiot. Why did you say no to switching? You said you don't care about Christmas. You don't celebrate the holiday, and you will not be visiting family who do celebrate. If she was switching, then you wouldn't be giving up your annual leave. You'd just be shifting the date of it. Right? This is exactly my philosophy. So often I think people get wrapped up in the you don't owe anything to anyone mindset. Sure, you technically don't. But if you can be kind and helpful with little to no inconvenience to yourself, you'd be an idiot not to take that opportunity. Exactly this. It sounds like OP has declined, with the sole purpose to be mean and gloat over having Christmas off. She just hates her parents and resents the fact that she has to make accommodations for someone who chooses to have kids. That makes them 100% an idiot. I can't wait for the day OP needs a day off, and no one will switch with them. My husband has 2 daughters, 19 and mid-teens, from his previous relationship. He only sees them once or twice a week on his days off. He can't see them often because of his work schedule. When they come over, they usually stay for a short time, eat dinner or lunch, and talk with their dad. Sometimes they go out for a couple of hours. The problem is that they don't respect my kids and me, and the younger daughter constantly steals from our home. I wouldn't mind if they just didn't want a relationship with me, but they constantly disrespect me and insult me when I enter the room. They've insulted me for not working. I have a job but just recently had a baby, and make jokes about how I'm using their dad for money. I make more money than him. I have 2 sons from a previous relationship, pre-tween and tween, which they insult because they think my sons are too dumb to understand what they're saying. Yet they understand clearly and are hurt by it. I've talked to my husband about this, and he says it's all just jokes and that he acted like that to his siblings. I've spoken to them about it, and they told their mom, who argued with my husband about it. The youngest daughter also steals. She'll say she's going to the bathroom and then enter the bedroom and take some cash. I've caught her doing this multiple times. My husband will make her give it back and then give her money from his own wallet. When I tried to talk to her about it, she told her mom, who again argued with my husband. We've gotten locks for our rooms, but she's just stolen other stuff instead. My kids avoid going to the kitchen or living room when the girls are over, and I'm tired of worrying that something's missing. I told my husband that he could spend time with the girls outside the house, and if he brought them over, I'd just take the kids and leave until they're gone. My husband called me childish, and my mom said making him do that for me was unfair. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot for trying to protect your house and kids. If you're going to leave the house, I'd install cameras. I wouldn't tell them that, but I would let them know that you're filing a police report if anything else comes up missing. But you and your husband need therapy, ASAP, because this cannot continue. Why is he okay with his kids stealing? It's not a joke if everyone isn't laughing. Why is he okay with dismissing your feelings and that of innocent little kids? The age gap between those teenagers and your elementary schoolers is too big for jokes. And you've already told him that you and your kids aren't okay with the jokes. It doesn't matter what he used to do with his siblings. Unless there's some missing context here, like you're the affair partner. But even so, ultimately, you have a husband problem. Might not be so black and white. He might feel guilty that, for whatever reason, He only sees them a couple of times a week. The girl's actions certainly scream, "I'm angry Dad remarried," and will interpret any type of siding with the OP as choosing his new family over them, no matter how ridiculous. For all we know, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place and can't figure out how to solve it yet. My wife is an amazing cook. Her food is the favorite of everyone in our circle of people. She's been especially popular with my 3 siblings, 2 pre-tweens and a young grammar school. I believe a big reason for this is my sister hates cooking and puts no effort into it. From a young age, she's been vocal about her disdain for cooking and how she could do a million better things with her time. She never cared if others were better than her before, but she has developed this intense jealousy of my wife because my nibblings enjoy my wife's cooking so much. They're always so excited when the family's around our house for dinner. Sometimes they'll even stop by at lunchtime, and my wife will gladly feed them something. My sister's the one bringing them to our house, but the last few weeks, she's been showing how jealous she is, making snide comments, and generally being ungrateful for the fact my wife is feeding the kids semi-regularly. They stopped by again yesterday, and the kids asked if they could have dinner with us. My wife was like, sure, and my sister said she must be so petty trying to show her up and not caring that they love her food more than their own mom's food. I told my sister, my wife was doing nothing wrong, and she could always stay home if she wanted to and feed her own kids. She said it's the fact that they show so much appreciation and love for my wife's food, and they never have anything good to say about hers. I told her she should take more of an interest in cooking, and she might get more compliments. From there, my sister got more bitter about it and said my wife had some nerve. I told her she should stop coming over if she's so jealous about my wife's cooking that she can't be more respectful of her in our home. My sister asked if I was kicking her out, and I asked if she would be respectful. She called me an idiot and left with the kids, saying she'd make them something at home. Last night she texted me that I was out of line and should be more understanding. Am I the idiot? Let me see if I have this right. Sis hates to cook. Sis happily gets out of cooking by dropping 3 kids on you on short notice at meals. Sis complains wife is a show-off and a jerk for feeding the kids she can't be bothered to cook for. LOL, what? Not the idiot, OP. Your wife is a saint, and your sister's ridiculous. This is the real-life equivalent of that meme where the guy puts a stick in his own bicycle spokes. This is absurd. She comes by for food, then dares to attack your generous wife? Tell her, instead of using your energy and time on bad-mouthing my wife so much, why don't you take that and use it to learn how to cook and make your kids happy? Your disdain for my wife is more than your love for your children. Yep, OP's out of line for expecting guests to be polite to his wife in his home. Wow, this is where dear Sissy would be shown the door and told to return and get her kids after dinner. Then a phone call the next day to tell dear sister she's no longer welcome in the house because she disrespects its inhabitants. If the kids cried, that's on her too. And before anyone points it out, like Mick sang, you can't always get what you want. All children should learn this lesson while young.